up and do my thing. I want to get into it, man, you know. Like a sex machine, man.
Lakini chapo ni ile like hutapata like zile legit just anywhere.
Utapata watu wanauza chapati kila mahali. Si nzuri utapata watu wanauza chapati. Same thing as.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Sage BME podcast. As I told you prior to that, like Anonymous and I will be having this specific section. So in this episode, we'll actually be telling you guys like what you're going to be receiving while coming to listen to this specific section. And welcome to We Are About to Get Cancelled. So this section will be solely dedicated to empowering individuals to create and maintain successful short-term and long-term marriage. Also is considered in the long term, and our aim is to provide like valuable insights and advice in navigating the ups and downs of relationships. Do you have anything like you could think about adding on to that?
Well, I think that covers it. So basically, we're looking to address the creation of authentic social networks with the opposite sex. That means the dynamics, where we'll be addressing the dynamics of relationships, the dynamics of intersexual relationships, and how to maneuver certain situations, how to acquire such relationships to begin with, how to maintain them, and how to nourish them over a long period of time. Basically, we'll not be addressing the shorter term, quick fix, easy hookups. And I don't mean hookups as in to mean what's going on these days online, on most platforms of these dating sites. It's not a hookup as in a payment for exchange of services, but I mean a hookup as in
let's say like a one-night stand.
Or, a very, very short term,
or a one-day stand.
Yeah. So we'll be addressing slightly longer term situationships or relationships, and we'll be talking about how to develop such nourishing relationships. That's about it.
And to add on to that, we'll be solely focusing on like heterosexual type of relationships. Yeah. If you're in the other side, this is not for you. I suggest that you find a place where you will be most comfortable being in. And to finish up on the introduction, this is for people who are like looking to improve their current relationship or seeking to start a new one, like you told guys. Because we believe like everyone needs like some to be happy and to be in a healthy place where they feel fulfilled, expressing themselves as they are. Yeah.
And it's just not physical health; it's mental health as well.
So this will be working on so many different levels. Yeah. So I will be your host for this section, Sage BME, and our co-host will be
Anonymous 99.
And as we begin, in this first episode, we'll actually be talking about a specific aspect of all the things, yeah? Mm-hmm. Whereby we'll be talking about why you should be listening to us. We'll also be talking about what benefits you're going to be getting while listening to us. And this is the section where we'll be telling you guys what you will be expecting from us. That's what we'll be solely delivering. So in this first episode, I'm going to take like 5 minutes to like introduce to you guys what we're going to be telling you. We'll be providing you guys with healthy knowledge and guidance on aspects in regards to relationship. Because I came and figured out that usually, like, you caught a girl, you find out that you guys vibe, then after that you're like, oh, so we are cool, you should start dating. You don't have terms, you don't have conditions. Then along the road you start getting angry, and you're saying, oh, they're revealing themselves. They're revealing themselves, and you're like wondering, what do you mean, like, they're revealing themselves? Like, you didn't say what you wanted, they didn't say what they wanted, but you both have expectations, and we know what expectations does to people, yeah? So, do you have anything to add on to that? Like, how people, like, usually get themselves in relationships without, like, knowing what's inside, without, like, communicating what they feel or what they want?
I think a huge part of that problem comes out when, in those initial stages where people begin to interact, and it's usually a gray zone where, or like undefined grounds where people try to be very pleasant to the other person, especially men. They try to impress. They try to come off very friendly, and in the pursuit of a relationship, or in the pursuit of establishing a sexual relationship with the other person, someone who you'd like to see for over a long time, you find yourself in a situation where you're trying to really impress them by being nice. You're trying to impress them by being flirtatious, and it's nothing wrong with this. But what that does is that it takes away some. How can I put this?
I'm tempted to say reality aspect.
Yes. So you're still in this like fantastical, it's a fantasy. It's like you're trying to be. You're not really discussing the very important things, and that's fine. I mean, that's okay. It's just that before you get into a proper relationship, some things should have been established before you get to a point where you're past the preliminaries, the seduction, the friendship,
the honeymoon stage.
Exactly, and not necessarily, but like at least you're past the point where you're not just friends, or you're not just getting to know each other. You've gotten to know slightly more about this other person before you can bring up the idea of becoming, a thing, or getting together seriously. You need to at least know this person's personalities, their faults, their strengths. You need to know the things that are deal breakers to you. After a while, you kind of you know what you like. It's like going into a restaurant. You know what you like.
You know what you're going to eat, yeah.
Right? And you're no longer a child. I mean, maybe if you're very young and you don't know some of these things, you could fall into the trap of finding out somebody has certain attributes that you don't like way down the line. But I mean, for most adults who've dated before, or who've seen people before, you get to know what you don't like and what you like. In your personal space. So you let them know early enough. And it is much better it's much better to cover what you don't like than what you like.
Yeah, because at the long run, okay, before I tell people at the long run, I'm sure because most of the time I figured that our audience are late teens to early 20s, yeah?
Young adults.
Yeah, young adults, yeah? I figured that most of the time you find the young adults and the teenagers, they get themselves into a relationship, and they're not very conscious about what's happening inside them. I tend to say, date people to get to know yourself, in the aspect that you get to know you like this, you don't like this, and be communicating it as you move along.
It's very important what you
as you move along.
You always communicate. You have to be very verbal. You need to let somebody know what you like and what you don't like. So when somebody does something wrong, you don't necessarily get very harsh and abusive with them. Don't go don't be very extreme, but let them know in very clear, very very clear terms, and let them know that this is not what this is not for me, and this I can't stand this. Right? And so going forward, I'd like you not to
do ABC,
this and this and that. hopefully it is something not about them that you want to change. It's something that infringes on your own freedoms. Right? You don't want to tell them, I don't like dark skins, and you've been dating this girl for about a few months. So it doesn't make. I mean, we're talking about realistic boundaries. In any respectable relationships, it's very important to come up with boundaries, right? So that at least the other person knows you're not just swaying and trying to impress them. You also have certain standards that you want met. And you have to be very clear that some of the standards that you have, if they're not met, then, you'd rather maintain the integrity of some of your standards and respect yourself than to be in a situation where you feel like you're lowering your standards, you're lowering your integrity to maintain a relationship. First and foremost, you come first. So if you're not getting what you agreed to get, at the beginning, you should be able to move away, to move on, to break away from whatever it is. So I think that's what I would say about that.
In accordance with that, as much as whatever we'll be talking about would also work with the people who are listening who want like that short-term thing. I came to figure out that most of the time that will not just allow people to like go in, jumping in headfirst, not knowing what you're going to be getting there. So that's what we'll actually be covering like through this. I'm actually going to be talking through my experiences. I'm sure you will have your own. And this will actually make things much, much easier for anyone who will be listening. This past few, actually, let me just say, this week I've been reading this book. It's called Mastery by Robert Greene. So he takes this quote from Friedrich Nietzsche. You should not appease, like you should not, like when a small child does something, like starts talking or starts walking, like you're always clapping and stuff. Now, if this guy is an adult, or this girl is an adult, and they figure things out on their own, and they're doing it well, and like they're flourishing in whatever it is that they're doing on their own, you should not like appease them, because it is not up to them. Like they should be mentored, they should be under a master. So like I'm saying this because it's not best to go out there and figure this stuff out on your own. And you can get prior experience and fine tune it to your specific situation, because this is not like set on stone, because you'll be refining situations to where you are currently at. So that's basically an introduction. We're going to be going to like, why should you listen to us while you're talking? This is, how can I say this? You as our listener should tune in because we bring you a unique combination of practical experience and professional knowledge to the table. But also, we're also passionate about whatever it is we're talking about, because we actually like, like when you discover something, you get that aha moment. Like, I didn't know like this was happening. Now, aha, like, this is what has been happening. We'd like to share that experience with you. We'd like you to have that aha moment for yourself. This will actually make things, like, for a person to understand something, they have to like understand it. And if we aren't able to like tell you this or help you understand this, then basically you coming to the podcast is like a dentist doing a general doctor's work. So and there's no point in that. He could have just become a general doctor instead of becoming a dentist. We are actually going to be specializing on relationships. Do you have anything to add on to that?
No, I completely agree. I think with the example that you gave, when it comes to congruency, it's very important to give to share information that is relatable to your own life experiences, to your own knowledge and knowledge and experiences that are suited for the subject that you'll be talking about.
So, like I was saying, we are also passionate about helping others to have genuine desires to make positive impacts in their life. So, we'll be approaching this in the most honest and the most relatable approach, to make this relationship advice that you'll be getting from us a very good guideline to anyone seeking to improve their love lives. Like we previously said, if you tuned into the episodes that we had, there's no such thing as the one. There are many people who can be that one. You just haven't gotten to them.
Exactly.
So we'll be helping you get to figure out these are the people who I'd like to have within my life in both relationship and your actual day-to-day life. So in the next 5 minutes, we'll be talking about the benefits that people are going to acquire while tuning into the podcast. So if you tune in to our podcast and listen, you can expect a big number of benefits. There are more than 101 ways there are more than 101 ways where you could get to understand how relationship works, how they are built, how you can get one. And there's someone who told me, you shouldn't build a relationship, you should buy a relationship. And you'll get to know why, this guy said, you should buy a relationship.
In fact, even I want to know why.
In the upcoming episodes, you should buy a relationship, but not with money. You'll gain a deeper understanding of relationships and the dynamics that drive them. Then you will learn practical strategies and techniques to improve communication, building trust and intimacy, and as well as you'll know how to resolve conflicts. Because I figured that looking at my parents, they are the most terrible people at resolving their own conflicts, because you can imagine getting involved and you're not qualified to get involved in such kind of a discussion. It's mad. Do you have anything to add on to that?
No, you mentioned something very important, and that's why I think I mentioned earlier, maybe not just in this podcast session, maybe previously, but I think it's very important to set boundaries with things about things that you really don't like. You say, I don't like this and this situation. It's more important to say what you don't like so that the other person can work towards being free away from those boundaries, instead of telling them just what you like and blah 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 and blah blah blah. You need to know, especially for relationships, you need to know what people don't like, right? You need to express yourself and you need to listen to the other person's not likes, right? So that even when it comes to conflicts, and with relationships, human interactions, in general, you'll end up in conflicts. It's very normal, it's very natural. So when you mentioned that, it resonated with me, and it's something that is present in both short-term relationships and even more so in long-term relationships and marriages. It will come up at some point. You will argue about something, you will disagree on something, and it's about how do you resolve the situation, how do you move forward if there's moving forward. If there's no moving forward, how do you amicably split ways, So these are very important things to mention. I agree with everything else, but that is one point that I really also,
So in accordance with that, I figured that you could have I'll call the conflict an elephant in the room. You could have that elephant in the room, and no one is talking about it. No one is mentioning anything about it. and it's bringing about anxiety.
Like sexless marriages, huh?
Yeah, like it's a heavy anxiety, and you don't know how to like bring it to the table. This actually kills some guys like out there. Maybe it's another reason why like people like jump out, go there, like find other relationships. I'm not saying that it's justified. I'm just saying that it builds or like there's a reason towards ABCD. You get
Yeah.
So we'll talk about how to like mention that elephant in the room, like, yeah, this thing is over here, and how like to make everything so smooth in. So the listeners will also benefit from our wealth of experience and knowledge, and as we share like examples, I'll actually have some study cases, because I've actually read more than like 10 books in regards to relationships, and I've actually opened up my mind more to this stuff. And with our help, the listeners can transform their love lives, even create love lives. For those who say they are called, like our friend Abel Weekend, who says he's heartless. I actually love that guy, you know. Our listeners will also like have mental peace, because you will find that people, you know, like guys, there are guys out there who don't sleep because of not having peace. And we'll actually be talking about like how you can boot yourself from a place where you see or feel that you shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I think men's rate of suicides is much higher than women's. I think because of this whole, secret suffering, secret mental suffering. They'd rather not say, compared to women who, discuss everything
with each other and others. But I figured that out. Like, women have groups where they talk about.
They do.
But for us guys, even like not only like a relationship aspect of it, even when it comes to like life in general, like you as a guy, you don't talk. Like even though they say like wanaume ni kujitetea,
yeah,
find that guys don't talk about their situation. If they're struggling at home, if they're struggling at work, they won't even tell their spouse that I'm having this issue. They just kanyagia it. Like they kanyagia it. We'll also be talking about that for guys. So I'd say that we're mostly focusing on the boy child
who's neglected.
Yeah. We'll actually like this section will be focusing completely on the boy child.
Yeah.
And I think
in an effort to cover, in an effort to observe gender equality and gender equity, because I think there's a lot of stuff out there about how to empower the girl child. So, we might as well do something for the boy child.
Yeah. The best thing we could do at this point in time is open a world where there seem to be none. Like it's like, how can I say this? I've actually been reading like Korean, Chinese, and Japanese manga, comic, manhwa, whatever you call it, yeah. But it's basically manga and manhwa. I've been reading them, and like there's always like there's this new world ahead. There's this new world upper that you haven't discovered yet. So we'll be throwing you guys into a funnel that you will never get out of, because you'll also be discovering new things, because I'm sure like while we're going along with this, we'll also be discovering new things, and we'll be sharing the new things to you. So Anonymous, I'm thinking on the next episode we'll actually be talking to guys about inner game, where like guys I figured that for many guys it's not like, for them it's not normal like to walk up to a girl and just greet them or say hi, but
not at all.
But for a dude, you can walk up to another dude and be like, hey, how you doing, bro? Ukoaje, bro? ABCD, bro. But you can do that to a girl, and it's funny because like there's not really much of a difference. It's just that she's someone of the opposite gender. So, if you tune into our next episode, we'll be talking about in a game before we start talking about the approach. And for the people who are currently in a relationship, we're actually trying to figure out a way to like get to you like really fast, because like we have to start from somewhere to get to somewhere. So before like we get there, while we're planning, we'll just be keeping you on the loop, but you'll be getting to understand like the process, step by step process. So that was all for today's episode. The next episode will be, I'm thinking, maybe shorter, maybe longer, but it will be like a small series of in a game on you feeling right with yourself. Do you have anything to add on?
No, nothing to add on for now. I think I look forward to the next session we'll be doing.
And welcome to the Sage Be Me podcast.